Today, a question philosophers have debated for centuries will finally be answered. Streaming or podcasts? Psychos and sickos unite for Draymond's already been ejected for tonight's game edition of the PHNX Suns pregame show. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, visit playatgila.com for more details. It's a home game, so the whole squad is kind of here. Steven's at the morgue. I'm Eric. That's Skill. We got Espo and the Freckle Mamba behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen for the 14th time today. We are back in these seats as the Phoenix Suns have made it past the NBA trade deadline. They did make a move. We had a bunch of shows talking about that between the Breaking Pod, Southwest Bias, our trade deadline reaction, and all of that. We'll also have a 3 p.m. show tomorrow talking about did the Suns make a big mistake. But first things first is tonight, and you've got to hit that like button and you got to hit that subscribe button because it's the villain versus the instigator, the streamer versus the podcaster. It's Brooks versus Draymond. Are y'all excited?
Sure. Why not? You know, it'll be. Yeah. Hell yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that just felt so forced.
Oh, my bad. I mean,
Espo, can you give me a little something?
I hope Dillon's got his cup on because we've seen what Draymond does to fools. We're not going to put up with that. Draymond's getting his ass tossed in the first quarter.
maybe a face guard too, like a head protect.
Hey, whatever it takes. It is NFL honors night. Put him in full pads. Let's go. Beef, baby. More than a butcher tonight.
There is definitely beef tonight. Let's go ahead and get into our credit check brought to you by our friends over at Mountain America Credit Union, the official credit union of the Phoenix Suns. This is exactly what I'm sure Mountain America envisioned when we pitched this segment, because I'm about to play you a clip from a stream. Dillon Brooks with Neon talking about Draymond Green and Podcast P.
You don't like Draymond's podcast?
Oh, you talk too much for me. But I'm saying they're not good.
Thank you, brother.
Because it's so focused on the.
They're not good. They don't focus on it. And then the sentence stops. Of course, obviously, as we know, Draymond Green would take this personally and personally responded on the Draymond Green Show.
If I was Dillon Brooks, I wouldn't have too much love for this podcast either. Being, how he was annihilated on this podcast, possibly, aided in him being traded away from the Memphis Grizzlies.
So, what do we expect tonight from, let's start with Dillon Brooks, from our villain. How do we expect him to come out there tonight and play?
I think he will do the typical Dillon Brooks thing. Maybe take a few extra shots anytime Draymond's anywhere near him, but I think Draymond's the one that gets a little too amped up for certain things. I think he's going to get a little crazy tonight.
Yeah, I will say, Dillon, I give him credit because a lot of times where there have been nights where there's a little extra attention, whether it's him getting all-star love, whether he's playing against LeBron James, whatever it is, he usually steps up. Like the 40-point game was when there were a lot of eyes on him because people had just given him a big shout-out. So he doesn't really get psyched out about things like that. Now, I know Draymond has a bit of a reputation when Steph Curry is not around and not available, which I know we'll get to in a second, to maybe toe the line and push the line a little bit. So maybe he's the one. But I fully do expect Dillon to be ready to play and honestly make some type of statement tonight.
Yeah, part of me is like, yeah, Dillon's going to come out. He's going to play really well. And then that's what I want, right? Part of me feels like they're both getting tossed in the first quarter.
Can I say something, by the way?
Go ahead.
The clip from Draymond, he took credit for a Grizzlies front office move. He said, yeah, my podcast and what I said on there probably had a hand in the Grizzlies deciding to move on from me.
Oh, really? Draymond taking credit for something he barely had anything to do with, much like the championships that he's been part of. Oh, yeah, I said it, Draymond.
Yeah, I've made it pretty clear I don't exactly love going on streams during the season and crap talking other players. Tonight will be the night that really determines that take for me. Because if, and I mean if, now I'm not saying I think this is going to happen, but if Draymond Green gets the better of Dillon Brooks tonight, if the Warriors win and Dillon has a bad game and Draymond actually has a good game without Steph, without Jimmy and all of them, I'm going to be pretty pissed off.
What does a Draymond Green good game without
8
them look
points,
like?
6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 5 personal fouls.
Yeah, and then the Warriors lose by 20. Like, if that's look, this is stupid. I mean, you've got.
Can we clip that?
You've got
like the head in hand, too.
This is stupid.
I mean, you've got one guy that's on a stream that makes a half-hearted comment because he's asked about it, and then Draymond goes full nuclear, thinking that he's the greatest thing ever and that he has the power to get guys traded. No, it's just stupid, totally and utterly stupid.
It's funny because that's exactly how this whole thing started. I went back and kind of had a look into the origins. It was Dillon Brooks in a ESPN feature saying, hey, I don't like Draymond. I don't like Golden State, whatever. And then Draymond's like, I wouldn't like me either if you watched me win championships when you were in high school and da-da-da-da-da. So he's very much kind of got like a little bit of like a kind of like stay in your place, young fella type thing, but you can't really do that. It's like a 9-year veteran who, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
young man.
hey, listen, young blood. Like, you know, I feel like that's just kind of a thing. I get it. Like these guys, you don't make it to the NBA if you don't have some type of ego and have some type of, you know, whatever. But it's just kind of funny that they are doing it through these means and these methods.
I think Lunas in the super chat says it best. Dillon is in his bag. He's not worried about a has-been. And also, Lunas, thank you for saying you liked the comment I made earlier as well.
Hey, big shout out to Keybon. Says, well, no matter win or lose, I still got your villain shirt on and F the Lakers. You're damn right. We do have a brand new shirt. By the way, for those who are unfamiliar, it's the big villain tonight, and it's always villain hours on our locker. A brand new shirt, gophnx.com. Go and check that out.
Why is it spelled like that?
Oh, because his name is Dillon,
Oh,
Villon.
okay.
So this is Villon.
Got it.
So come on, let's be creative, people, and let's go from there. Get the shirt. If you want a blue collar shirt, if you want more Sun shirts going forward, we got to sell these. I know we're ordering ours. We're excited to be wearing them on the show here.
The colors pop
shortly.
on that tee, too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like those colors.
They're good colors.
Obviously. Also, something to keep in mind with this Dillon Brooks and Draymond thing, just kind of the last thing on this beef is that I'm sure that Draymond Green is acutely aware of how close Dillon Brooks is to being suspended, and I don't think that there is anything that Draymond Green would like more other than holding Steph Curry's bag for him than getting Dillon Brooks suspended on the technical that he forced.
I think he'd enjoy it. I mean, you know, sucker punching teammates at practice as well is a pastime of his also.
And don't get me twisted. Like I think Draymond obviously like a big part of that Warriors team. Like they don't win championships without, you know, a Warriors, or the Warriors don't win a championship without Draymond Green, but like he's not great anymore. He has become a liability for this team, and to the point where he's crying about how great of a run it was the last time they did a post-game presser, and it's just kind of like, man, this guy, he's done, and he's been done, and he has been a negative on the court for them.
Yeah, I would say my last thought about it is Draymond would not be Draymond if it weren't for the Warriors, but the Warriors would not be the Warriors if it weren't for him. And it's a perfect fit, hand in glove, as far as that goes. And same thing with this iteration of the team. When they're at full strength, it makes sense. But when they're as shorthanded as they are going to be now and maybe for the foreseeable future, even with Jimmy Butler's injury, it looks a little different.
When did he devolve into a caricature of himself?
Jeez, like a decade ago?
Like, I
mean,
once
he got a little motion, he changed.
It just feels like it lately. Like, you know, we remember him punching Nurk, like all these things. It's just like, come on, bro. Keep it together.
I mean, he's kicking dudes in the nuts, punching guys in the face, punching teammates in the face. I mean, it's sad and it's pathetic, honestly. And I have nothing against, you know, player podcasts or whatever, but to be high and mighty because you host a player podcast. Oh, he doesn't look my podcast. Like, because you're an idiot. Because you said to Dillon Brooks, the dynasty starts after you. And by the way, the downfall of the Grizzlies can be traced back to when they told Dillon Brooks that you will not be coming back. It has not been good for them since then. So he's just been a straight up idiot. He's a great player in his prime, and he's not a good player anymore, and he's always been an idiot.
The whole thing, again, is so stupid. It's one guy on a stream and another guy on a podcast yelling at each other, and now they're going to settle it on the court.
What if they just like shook hands and hugged?
They're both competitors. Maybe it's all WWE, as you said.
It
So
is.
they're getting
It
us to
is.
talk about it. See, that's what they got us.
You think they both looked at it and knew the other one was on the schedule in 6 days and what? You know
no
what?
coincidence.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna have a little fun.
I bet Dillon says to him, like, damn, I'm surprised you're still here, OG. I thought they were going to trade you for nothing. Because, look, I mean, I don't think the Warriors could have traded Draymond because they've got nobody tonight. Let's take a look at the injury report presented by our friends over at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. The Suns side of things, Devin Booker, still out. Jalen Green, questionable, out again. Nigel Hayes-Davis, Nick Richards, for some reason, they're out. They're not with the team. The Warriors, D'Anthony Melton is questionable. We'll get an update on that here shortly. Jimmy Butler out. LJ Cryer out. Seth Curry out. Oh, Steph Curry also out. Buddy Hield and Jonathan Kuminga also not with the team here. They did trade for Kristaps Porzingis. He won't be with the team tonight. Let's talk about the Suns side of things first. And by us, I mean let's have Jordan Ott talk about why Jalen Green keeps on being listed as questionable, but now for the third game in a row is downgraded to out.
It is a day-to-day thing. I think just staying right with it, Dwayne, like how he reacts to the work the day before and giving him the best chance. Like we're not going to do anything ahead of time that takes him out of how he feels in the morning. And especially with these opportunities where we were able to get into the gym, have shoot around, he can go through that the best he can, and then we figure it out from there.
So he hasn't responded well enough to the work before to be able to go. Is that?
Yeah, it's still that hip, just the soreness in the hip. And then we got to make sure when he's running at full speed that nothing, is out of whack to where it affects the hamstring because he's coming back off the hamstring. So just being smart with it.
What were your reactions to that soundbite?
That he has a severely bruised hip. I mean, we
He
saw
fell hard.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Grayson miss how many games because he bruised a quad?
Basically a month of action.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how hard that Jalen Green fell on that hip. That's probably a hell of a bruise that's going on there and in an area that you kind of need when you're moving around.
I think the two things that come to mind first is that if it was just the hip and they weren't managing the hamstring, maybe it would be a different process. But you kind of have to limit the treatment and rehab for one thing because it might impact the other and vice versa. And the other thing I think about this team and this medical staff, this training staff has taken a similar approach basically with everybody and every injury we've seen, right? Like especially this cluster, say, 4-game homestand before All-Star break. It's a game tonight, game Saturday, and then games back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday. And this Warriors team is near you in the standings, but they are without so many people. So when we got the news earlier that Jalen Green was going to be out, I was thinking maybe they're not even risking it for a game that they think they should be able to hold their own when there's no Jimmy Butler, no LJ Cryer, no Seth Curry, no Steph Curry, and the guys you traded for aren't available as well. It's going to be a very shorthanded Warriors team, still capable of making you sweat and winning this game, but I think that you trust what you have without Jalen
I
Green.
don't know if you guys know this, but the hip bone's connected to the thigh bone. The thigh bone's connected to the knee bone. Yeah, it's all connected, okay? And especially with a guy like Jalen where it's like, okay, go out there and play, who's had these second thoughts when he's been out there because he's missed so much time, because he came back and then he left and then he came back and then he left. And it's just, that's a crazy comment. Sorry, I got really distracted by Henry Huckleberry.
Dr. Ruby, though, I mean, I'm going to get concerned if you tell me that the hip bone isn't connected to anything else.
But
that's when we got to worry.
And again, like he fell hard. He's got a bruised hip. I get the frustration, though, with him being listed as questionable and then out. And I get what Jordan Ott's saying where, okay, we don't want to completely rule him out, but it just feels like after a while, just rule him out. Because it's still a day-to-day thing, but a deeply bruised hip isn't a day-to-day thing to me.
Can they, though? Because what are the NBA rules? If I rule him out on that initial injury report, can I then change it to where he plays? So that's why, because I think they believe.
But it was doubtful, though.
I mean, okay, yeah, you can go with
Damn
that.
it, that'll
what
change
is,
everything.
What is day-to-day to doubtful? I mean, like
it means something.
I mean, he's day-to-day, and then by the time they got to the day, he's not available.
It's like, you got to be quicker than that. It's like they're just waving the dollar in front of our face, man.
I mean, I'm not yeah, I get it from a fan standpoint, but if you put him out, people are going to freak out even more. They'll be like, oh my God, now he's out. Oh my God.
I mean, there's no winning. And then if he plays and he's limping, Gil, then they're going to burn the morgue down.
No, absolutely. I mean, we even saw it when he was still trying to play through it after that fall, which I think, again, that is like the most encouraging is too strong of a word. But I look at that and say, if it was so bad and so debilitating, I know that bruises get worse after things happen, but the fact that he was able to go back and play for another few minutes leads me to believe that they are just going to be super cautious and treat it as much as they possibly can. There's a big layoff coming next week as far as the break that you have for All-Star. But I think, again, I said this last game, I will freak out and I will give everybody out there permission to freak out. I'm signing permission slips if we don't see him in one of these last 3 games before All-Star.
Permission slip and tweet it.
I will sign it.
I laugh at it because I'm like, I had one guy go, "Oh, surgery now," and I'm like,
I mean, that's
what?
The bruise surgery to replace those bruises, repair those bruises.
A hip fracture, they can't lie about that. Like, they would tell us if there was a hip fracture. They wouldn't be happy about it, but they would tell us. It's been long enough since the fall.
I mean, they're acting like he's a 70-year-old man that fell, and then they're like, hip surgery, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, right?
It
sucks.
does.
I've said it so many times. It sucks, but it is what it is. Devin Booker also continues to be out. It's been over a week since, they said it'd be a week until he gets reevaluated. We haven't gotten an official update yet on Devin Booker, so Dwayne Rankin asked about, hey, how's he doing?
Yeah, continue to progress. Again, incredible healer. He's trying to push as far as he can on the court, again, without going overboard, because once you go overboard on an ankle or something like that, there's a little bit of soreness. So he's right there.
I will say there have been a lot of things that have proven that Jordan Ott was ready to be a head coach in the National Basketball Association. Maybe the number one thing is how he talks about injuries and answers questions in media, because for as smart of a guy as he is, he says a whole lot of nothing every single time he's asked a question, unless it's by Steve.
Incredible healer. Is that book or is that Kendall helping book?
Well,
it's all you, big dog. Take it.
I will say that this team.
Why did you break it down like Steven?
This team is healing because before this injury, they were 1-3 without Devin Booker, and they've won 4 of these 6 games that he's missed. So they're figuring something out without him, which obviously you won't get far without him. But the quicker he heals, the more incredible that he heals, the quicker he gets back in the lineup. But I think the interesting thing as far as him coming back is just how that's going to work. Again, same thing, obviously different timelines, but same thing applies. Like, are you going to see him in one of these last 3 games before All-Star? Depending, it's been 7 games tonight. It's also been 2 weeks, I guess. Tomorrow makes 2 weeks. So, how that works with him. But I expect to see him next week.
I need to ask you a question from the chat. El Colonel says, I see grandmas get up from worse falls than that.
No, you don't.
Well, I want to know.
Which grandma's jumping 8 feet in the air and then falling on their ass? I'm trying to see that grandma hoop, dog.
I really just want to know why this dude's watching grandmas. I got so many questions.
I appreciate
so
you.
many questions.
Uncle always here. We do appreciate you. On the Warriors side of things, obviously no Steph, no Draymond. That's big time with them being out. No Seth Curry. I mean, come on. Their starting lineup tonight, D'Anthony Melton is active, so it's him. It's Pat Spencer. It's
Watch out for
Moses
him.
Moody. It's Gui Santos, and it's Draymond Green. So no Quentin Post starting for them tonight. They're going actually a little smaller, which is interesting. We don't usually see that against the Suns. Who is it? Who's number one maybe besides Draymond, even if it's not Draymond, like that you're worried about on the Warriors tonight? Because I think a lot of us expect the Suns to win. We'll get to our score predictions in a bit. If the Suns don't win, it's because of who? That's not on the Suns team. Don't say it's on them.
I say it feels like one of those annoying, like, dang, you guys letting Pat Spencer do this to you.
Yeah.
And like, he's a fine player, also a really good lacrosse player, but he's a guy who
The GOAT.
the
greatest
GOAT,
one.
won their version of the Heisman Trophy, whatever it's called. But I think Pat Spencer is a guy who these guys opportunity and game reps. They're playing for a bigger role in this system once they get all the guys healthy. Gui Santos is a guy who hurt the Suns in very limited minutes that second game in Golden State like a month or so ago. So I have my eye on those two guys just because they can do some things with their effort and the way they play that can be very frustrating if you don't keep it in check.
Oh, I feel like we could have a DeAnthony Melton revenge game for way back in the day. Like I just it's always somebody random that you don't expect if it stays close when it shouldn't. So
Yeah, Quentin Post always scares me, which is not a sentence I ever thought that I would literally ever say, ever. But this is also a Warriors team that we say with the Suns all the time, or we say with any team, like when there are so many players that are injured and so many top tier guys that are injured, like these are good basketball players. It's
the
hard
chat
to.
is on one.
Yeah,
tonight.
they are. Let's see.
Dear Lord.
So we're just gonna sit here in
Sorry.
silence. No, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit here in silence. And Chase, I just want you to think about what you just said.
I just
Nope. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching this. No watch along tonight. We will be back with a watch along on Saturday. We will have a post game show. We will have a 3 p.m. show tomorrow. I didn't say you had to regret it. I didn't say you had to regret it. I'm just saying you gotta think about what you said, and if you're happy with it, then you're happy with it, and that's more power to you. When it comes to the Suns, they're coming off of a big win against the Trailblazers. They have won 5 of their last 6 games. They are a really good team recently as well. And they didn't trade anybody big during the deadline, right? They're not missing anybody that could really help them tonight. Who is it for you on the Suns side of things against this Warriors team? Is it Mark going up against a smaller big in Draymond? Do we need to see another good Grayson Allen game for the Suns to continue to pick up wins without Devin Booker and Jalen Green?
Yes.
There you go.
I think you need Mark or Oso to have a good offensive game, whether it's Oso helping find guys and driving and getting some dunks, or Mark doing what we saw the other night. And I think Collin, again, you need to step up tonight as well.
I'm excited to watch that Collin Oso 2-man game. Again, we saw a lot of that.
Draymond and Steph 2.0.
Exactly. They're going to be like, we recognize that. But yeah, looking at those guys, and also just generally speaking, right, we were on the other side of the trade deadline now, so they're humans. And a lot of guys who may or may not have been mentioned in talks, and I don't know if anything had been communicated to those guys about being safe or not, but maybe we see guys like Ryan Dunn and like, Royce, even to that certain extent, play a little more freely now that they know that they're going to be good and they can really just kind of focus on what lies ahead over this final stretch of the season.
So you
Collin
think
will be
Royce
fun.
makes a layup tonight?
I mean, we got one last game. Let's
chill on that. Chill on that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I didn't look at any of your bets, but if any of you put money on Royce O'Neal, you need to be checked into an
Royce
institution.
O'Neal over 0.5 layups.
Before we get into our bets, courtesy of Bet365, let's go ahead and take a look at Steven's keys to the game. Key number 1, keep Mark Williams involved, especially against a now smaller Warriors team. Key number 2, continue tending to half-court offensive flow. And key number 3, force turnovers. Which one of those to you, Gil, stands out the most?
Let's talk key number 3, enforcing turnovers. I think the Warriors, even in their prime, which gets memed a lot, they were susceptible to turning the ball over, and that oftentimes was their downfall. It is a run killer. It is a momentum killer. And now you are playing a team of guys who are very talented, or they are talented guys, but there's not that much continuity as far as them being familiar with playing with one another. And when you're playing a team and a lot of their reserves are starting, or guys who aren't used to playing the minutes that they're going to be playing tonight, they are again susceptible to turn the ball over. And that's a way that you can, one, limit their possessions, but also get out in the open court and get some fast break points and really turn the game on its head early on.
Yeah, get Mark involved for me is the one. Go to him early, see if you can get him going a little bit early.
Well, and Mark hasn't had the best games against Golden State. I think counting stats-wise, he has the first game, I believe he grabbed like 16 rebounds in that game, but it was almost the first time all season that Mark felt like invisible on the court. And it's good for him that he felt invisible and he still grabbed 16 rebounds, but he's been on a really good stretch ever since that Brooklyn game where he kind of, broke out of his funk. And then obviously last game against Portland, he had a really big bounce back second half, especially against Donovan Clingan, but he's gone up against a brutal stretch of centers. Now, current Pacers center Zubats was on that list, of course, also with Brook Lopez. Then you had Donovan Clingan. Before that, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Before that, you had Jalen Duren. And then before that was that Nets game that he played really well against. You are going up against smaller centers now. It should be easier for him to impose his will on the Warriors. But Draymond's not a bad defender in the post. So I don't know if they're going to go to him in the post as much as they should try to find him for lobs, kind of getting to him over the rim instead of dumping it down to him and letting Draymond play one-on-one post defense, which is still something that Draymond Green's very good at, even in big 2026.
Yeah, I think it's pick and roll, force the switch, try to get it to Mark on a lob or pass down there. And don't force it, obviously, but try to get him involved.
No, absolutely. I think the thing, too, we talked a lot about what he's able to do. And again, Draymond is not as young as he once was. So the agility situation with running the floor and taking advantage of your youth with him, and then also screen and roll. And I think for all Draymond isn't because he's older. He still is a very smart defender and really understands how to be like the linebacker or the quarterback of that defense. So him in help side and off the ball is very good. But let's see how those pick and roll coverages look if Mark can get some looks like that as well.
Well, also, who knows if Draymond Green's going to be guarding Mark Williams tonight?
Right.
It could be Moses Moody.
Could be Gee.
I guess it could be Gui Santos. Because Draymond might be guarding Dillon Brooks, right? And again, at the same time, you look at the defense for the Warriors. Obviously, they're shorthanded on the offensive end, but who's guarding Collin Gillespie? Like, D'Anthony Melton's good, but he's not the type of defender that he was in his prime. What about Grayson Allen? Like, these are two guys that have just been absolute offensive machines. Of course, Collin coming off one of the best games of the season that we've seen from a Phoenix Suns player, one of the best undrafted performances we've ever seen. There have only been 3 players who put up the stats that Collin put up against the Blazers that were undrafted. Him, Jeremy Lin, and Fred VanVleet, right? It's a very short list, so they'll need to continue getting that.
Literally.
What'd you say?
Said literally.
Literally. And I'm going to need to continue to literally get better with our pre-game picks presented by our friends over at Bet365. Sign up, use code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5, get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 52342, or visit promgambling.az.gov.
Yeah, that's good. We can take it off the screen.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying it.
Don't want to keep it up
Well,
longer?
of course, Gil hit his bet. The rich get richer. Just like the world, man, Gil.
Yeah, me and the world.
Just like
My betting results are what's wrong with the world.
Well, what are you putting your money on tonight?
Try to make it 2 in a row. Jordan Goodwin, 5+ rebounds. Oso Ighodaro, 5+ points, and the Suns to win by 5+ points. So a quick 5-5-5 plus 275 with a 30% profit boost.
By the way, that line is different than what the spread is.
That is an
now.
alternate line, yeah.
For the Suns currently are favored by 5.5 points. The Warriors getting 5.5 points on the road, a plus 180 on the money line for the Warriors, minus 220 on the money line for the Suns. Espo, are you taking any spreads or money lines in your bet?
No, I had my money on Boom being a nerdy Star Trek fan, and I hit already. So how about that?
You go.
No,
You do have the money line.
I do have my money line. I have Suns money line. I have Mark Williams 15+ points, Mark Williams 10+ rebounds, Mark Williams over 0.5 blocks.
I'm starting to see why you said your biggest key was getting Mark Williams involved.
Big man involved.
Ayrton, what are you putting your money on?
I got Collin Gillespie hitting 2 threes tonight. Oso Ighodaro, of course, hitting his PRA, which is 12.5. And then Suns got him winning by 10 points tonight, plus 360 with a 30% profit boost.
That feels like you could have gotten better odds for that. The minus 9.5.
I'm carried by the minus 9.5.
Yeah.
That was like plus 300.
I
by
guess,
itself.
Calling 2 threes. They're like, you got to pay us, brother.
Yeah.
If you win, we're still taking.
I just added 2 more legs because I needed the profit boost, of course.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at what I'm putting my money on. I forget. All right, I'll take Dillon Brooks, 20+ points. That is earlier in the day. I got Grayson Allen over 8.5 assists and rebounds. He's been passing the ball really well lately. And I got Draymond Green over half a steal. Now, I don't think Draymond finishes the game, but I do think he comes out on fire, forces a turnover, gets in somebody's face, and then eventually gets kicked out like 5 minutes later.
You could lose in one fight.
I literally could. Plus 340 with a 30% profit boost. That's our bets. What about our picks? Let's take a look at who we think wins tonight. All of us. Clean sweep, taking the Suns. Steven by 13. Espo by 7. Gil by 11. I'm taking them by 7. But what's our Suns must win meter? That's the most important thing. An 8.9, a high one. Espo the highest yet again at a 9.5. Gil and I at a 9. Ayrton and Steven at an 8.5. Just take care of business, right, Espo?
Tonight is you can Draymond the Warriors' playoff hopes by hitting them like their pool. Knock them the hell out of this right now. You can go up by, I believe it's 5 games that you can go up by, and then you, I believe, tie for the series.
That's true.
So they don't have the tiebreaker on you. So I think you could deliver a knockout blow to them at this point.
I'm going to move mine up to a 10. Retroactively. Because the Charlotte Hornets are currently up 22 points on the Houston Rockets.
Let's go,
Hornets! Bro, Charlotte.
Could be a big night.
Charlotte. Brandon Miller snatching KD's
Good
chain
Charlotte.
in real time. That's crazy. That's a big loss if the Suns are able to pull off a win tonight. Obviously, we want it to happen. Who knows if it will, but we do know that we'll be back here to talk about it on our post-game show. Make sure you follow the show at PHNX_Suns in the meantime for live game updates, everything from practices, home games, whatever you need. At PHNX_Suns has you covered. You can follow the Freckled Mamba at Freckled Mamba. You can follow Espo at Espo. Check out his interview with Ryan McDonough that went down earlier this morning on Southwest Bias. Catch Gil at Gil McGregor _. Of course, our breaking news pod, our trade deadline reaction. Working on some stuff for the website as well, so make sure you give him a follow. You can follow me at ERIKRUBY. We'll see you all for postgame.
Ahoy,
We all silly like the mayor.